Good morning, good evening, good midnight, wherever you guys are at as of right now. It is time for the Ode of Everblooming Crimson banner review. So 5 ships this time. I know a lot of you guys have been asking me, Kimo, what are your thoughts on Amagi 2, Amagi CV or whatever, because I've been getting a lot of them. And today, we will be answering that question for you guys. So with that being said, let's get right into it. So the banner ship Amagi carrier. So the usual stuff right here. I'm gonna praise it again. Amagi is voiced by the voice actress Miyuki Sawashiro, one of my favorites, if not my favorite of all time voice actress. So very worth it to pull just for that situation, because amazing and talented voice actress. Now the stats at 120 are going to be as followed. If you guys are going to 125 her, just look at the 125 stats. But 120 we have 7,599 health, 0 firepower, 0 torpedo, 443 aviation, 321 anti-air, 134 on the reload. So I'll talk about it in a bit. But 51 evasion, medium armor, 31 on speed, I think, right? Yeah, speed, 99 hit, 23 luck, 0 ASW, and 15 on the oil cost. Now, so one thing I want to point out is the reload. Now, if you guys don't know, Shinano and Hakuryu have the exact same reload, but check this out, right? They are 126. If you want to look at 125 stats, 136 and 128 and 128. So Amagi, assuming if you guys are running the exact same plane loadout for them, Amagi should be going to first if you want to do some kind of composition involving the ultra rare carriers for the IJN faction. So what does this mean is that usually you kind of want her to go last, because Hakuryu and Shinano has some sort of buff that can benefit off of, so you want Amagi to go last. But in this case, she's faster than them, so she's probably gonna go first. So that's very interesting there. I think in terms of aviation though, she loses out on both of them because, well, Shinano has a little bit less, but Hakuryu has like a lot, so that makes sense. But in terms of stats though, offensively, she's pretty good. Better than Amagi in every way in terms of offensive capabilities. She's not heavy armor, but it doesn't really matter too much about the backline armor typing because they just gotta do damage for the most part. So that's actually really cool. Now, as for the plane efficiency, she has crazy efficiencies right here. 145 on the fighter slot, 145 on the dive bomber slot, and 160 on the torpedo bomber slot. Now, if I'm not mistaken, you can switch these around. It's not updated yet on the wiki site, but I think, let me see here. Dive bombers can be dive bomber or fighter slot. This slot stays for dive bombers, and this last slot can be no. The second slot can either be a torpedo bomber or a dive bomber. So slash dive bomber and slash torpedo bomber here, and the last torpedo bomber slot is fixed. So that gives her really good capabilities for medium and heavy armor content, because there's a lot of good planes you can use in that slot. The only problem is that she's probably going to fall off on light armor stuff, mainly because she has 1 fighter slots. But that's fine, because I'm pretty sure USS is not going to get benched anytime soon in the light armor department, mainly because Yorktown 2 and Kearsarge combination is just too damn powerful in this stage of the game when it comes to light armor content and those really strong planes they have. But there's one thing to consider when you guys look at efficiency. Now, they do have really high efficiencies here, but you guys gotta look at their planes right here. They have a 323 plane. That's actually pretty low, if not standard for a lot of carriers. That's not ultra rare. If you guys don't know, Hakuryu has a 342 combo, and Shinano has a 234 combo. So she's locking in planes, even though the efficiency is very high. So honestly, I think in terms of why a lot of people said she wasn't really good at the beginning is because, if you guys don't know, well, I haven't seen the rest of her kit yet, but if I recall correctly, she doesn't get any additional planes like Hakuryu and Shinano does. Like Shinano gets additional Ryuzeis and Saiun airstrikes. I think Hakuryu gets something as well too, if I'm not mistaken. But Shinano or Amagi doesn't really get that. And she has lower plane count. So I think that's why some people said Amagi wasn't good at the beginning, because she didn't have like a lot of planes on top of it. Because even though efficiencies are high, having a lot of planes makes up for having lower efficiencies, honestly. The more planes you have, the more DPS you do, essentially. So it's like an army of ants versus like 2 beetles. You get what I'm saying? Like, beetles are strong, but if you have like 1,000 ants, that's kind of scary, right? At 120 permanent stat, we got 1 aviation. Very nice. Now, let's talk about the skills here. So the first skill we have is going to be From Plans Laid, Eternity Arrayed. Oh my god, now we're getting into coding words here. I've been practicing Python, so arrayed is going to be a common word you're going to see there. The skill here is going to be increases the ship's aviation by 15%. Alright, a solid buff right there. While this ship is afloat, increases the torpedo damage. I think they meant to put it down once. Increases the torpedo damage dealt by your Sakura Empire ships, including submarine torpedoes, surface ships torpedoes, and aircraft torpedoes by 15%. Alright, so by default, that is an increase to torpedo bombers right there. Very, very strong. 15% there. And decrease the enemy's firepower, torpedo, anti-air, aviation, and evasion by 3%. So each stack of Phoenix Flame on the enemy applies another instance of that debuff. I think they reworded that in the game, but I'm not sure if the wiki updated that or not. Essentially what that means is that this stacks up twice. You guys are going to see it later here. Like, the Phoenix Flame stacks twice. And I can only apply it every 5 seconds. And I don't think they decline as well too. So like, after the second stack is at max cap already, so this doesn't go away at all. But this is actually a really good debuff, because offensively the enemy gets neutered, firepower, aviation, and torpedo gets neutered. But anti-air and evasion also a very nice debuff, because 6% anti-air decrease and 6% evasion increase means your planes are going to do more damage and more accurately as well too. If you guys don't know, anti-air is the equivalent of plane damage reduction. So the more anti-air you have, the less damage you take from planes. So having 6% less anti-air and 6% less evasion means that enemy is going to take more damage from your planes, and it's going to be more accurate because you have 6% less evasion. So that's actually a really, really good debuff, and this entire skill right here is actually really good. So you have aircraft torpedo increase by 15%, aviation by 15%, and then another buff later in here as well too that also makes her very, very strong. So honestly, this is a really cracked first skill right here from what I see. Team buff, a enemy debuff, and a self buff all in one. That's ridiculous for one skill. It does 3 things for one skill. That's actually really, really good. But again, you want to pair her with IJN ships, because that's what's gonna benefit from this second skill, or the second part of the first skill right here. Now, the next skill is From Advantage Seas, Victory Bequeath. I think I said that word right. I never ever use that word. Increase this ship's damage dealt to enemies the further away they are from her, up to 18% more damage. Now, there isn't an accurate way to measure this. I'm not sure if anyone knows. If they do, please tell me, because I want to know how this like distance thing works. If it works by units based on like how many like Bullen ships or whatever, then I don't think they're gonna be like super like anal about this. I think it's gonna be pretty generous for the distance for this damage increase, because it'd be kind of like dumb if they put it like right next to you and it's like if it's close to you, you do 0 damage or whatever. So I think it's going to be pretty generous, and she's probably going to have at least a 15% or more increase each time. Otherwise, I feel like the skill is kind of like whatever, because how are we going to measure it, right? Like this skill says the further away they are, but they don't tell you exactly how much further away. So it's kind of like, what's the deal here? When this ship launches an airstrike, launches a level 10 special airstrike based on skills, based on the skills level and the ship's aviation stat. So I guess this is like additional planes. So maybe maybe Amagi does get additional planes here, because a special airstrike means probably more planes. It's not a barrage, so it's probably just more planes. All right, so if she gets additional planes, then that's actually pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. That makes her much more prevalent when it comes to DPS overall. While the ship is afloat, 15 seconds after a fleet this ship is not in, so the other fleet, launches a level 10 supporting attack based on skills level and ship aviation. So that's the cross barrage right here. And the last skill right here, from Phoenix's Sistren Flames Given. Oh Jesus, what are these names? Every 12 seconds, 100% chance to fire a level 10 Phoenix special barrage. So this is the thing we all saw, that barrage that she has, and it's based on skill level and aviation stat. For every Sakura Empire ship in your fleet, not including Amagi 2, decreases this barrage activation by 1 second. So that's up to 5. If it's every 12 seconds and you have 5 IJN ships, that's every 7 seconds in one fight. So that's actually pretty cracked if you think about it, because let's say you use her for boss content. Most boss content is about 80 seconds to 90 seconds. And the 80-second content, if we compare a 12-second interval barrage, that is about 9 times in one fight for a 80-second fight. But if you have 7 seconds, that is about 11 times in a 80-second fight. So that right there is like what? 4 more times, right? 4 additional, no. 12 seconds, do my math is like awful right now. It's 6 versus 11 times. That's a lot. Now the damage isn't like spectacular, but that chip damage is really, really good. Like it adds up over time. And for a 90-second fight, 12 seconds divided by 90 divided by 12, that's like 84. Wait, that's 84, 8 with 6 left over. So 8 times in a 90-second fight with 12-second interval versus 7. So 90 divided by 7 is going to be like, let's do, my math is rusty right now. I think 12 times, right? 12, 6 left over. So you're going to have, oh my god, so it's, my math. I need to like write this down, man. It's like, it's because there's remainder times left over. It's just not like a flat whatchamacallit. It's 7 times for 90 seconds, right? Yeah. And it's going to be 12 times for 90 seconds. So it's like it's 5 more barrages in a 90-second fight if you have a full maxed out IJN or maxed IJN fleet count. So it's actually really good for chip damage, like really, really good. And inflicts the Phoenix Flame status the enemies hit on when it hits. So there's another thing to consider. So this debuff stacks up 12 times, right? Increase their burn damage by 15% for each stack of Phoenix Flame, and then 2 times. So this skill right here, if you proc it fast, so like 24 seconds, you have maxed out Phoenix Flame debuff. So 24 seconds after a fight, you have the max debuff stack. But if you have a maxed out IJN fleet, you can get the max debuff stack in 14 seconds. So that's a 10-second interval for your ships to do more damage because of evasion down, anti-air down, and you lower their damage output as well too. That's actually really, really good. So there's more to it than that. You get the stack, you get the burn stack faster, you lower their anti-air, and you lower their evasion by 10 seconds faster if you run a single Amagi fleet versus a full IJN fleet. So there's like a lot of things going for that right there, and having a lot of these debuffs like fast is really, really good. So going back to what I was saying here, if you stack it within a 5-second interval. Well, I don't know why it says 5 seconds, because I don't think it's possible to do under that, because I think 7 seconds is like the shortest interval. You get more damage increase over time. And then when associated with Amagi, with the Kagi or Kaga, decrease their loading time, first airstrike by 50%. So you can probably do some cheese with this, I feel. If you want to do something like Amagi, Amagi 2, Kagi, and Kaga, you can get like a almost preloaded airstrike within like the first 10 seconds. That's actually pretty cool. If you want to do any kind of like rush content, like Zerg content, it's like an almost preloaded damage right there. Like a stronger Perseus, stronger Unicorn going first, assuming you don't need to sustain. So that's actually pretty cool right there. So honestly, this ship is actually really disgusting. A lot of people right now are saying that she benches Haku Ryu, and I honestly did agree with that a while back, because if I had to pick between dropping Shinano or Haku Ryu, I would drop Haku Ryu, because she's mainly pure DPS, even though she offers a pretty unique buff for damage increase. Shinano offers a debuff and a team buff as well too, which is going to benefit Amagi 2 even more. So if you guys aren't doing like Haku Ryu, Shinano, and Amagi 2, then I would probably do something like Musashi, Amagi 2, and Shinano for heavy armor content. But I'm probably going to stick to Haku Ryu mainly because she's going to benefit off this IJN Sacred Empire torpedoes that Amagi gives, and she's going to get buffed by Shinano as well too. So that's going to be a very, very cool damage increase. Whereas if you bring in Musashi, now Musashi is very strong, but you have to put in Plymouth. If you put in Plymouth, she takes away from a buff slot. They can put like Sirius or Kashino in there to make your carriers do more damage. So I want to do something like Haku Ryu, Shinano, and Amagi 2 to get maximum benefits from this. But again, if I had to pick one or the other, I'd probably kick out Haku Ryu, mainly because Shinano and Amagi 2 offer something else to the team rather than just pure damage on top of it. So she's actually a really, really disgusting ship. Again, she's very faction restrictive, and I really hate this about a ship when they become very faction restrictive. But when it comes to heavy armor content, she is zero to, like, I think the term is 0 to none. Like, she's disgusting. If you think heavy armor, you think Amagi 2. Like, she's very, very good when it comes to dealing with any kind of heavy armor content. And luckily for us, we have like 3 heavy armor bosses right now: EX mode, Nagato meta, and I believe Hermit is this rotation. So a lot of good place to showcase is Amagi 2 right now, because that's where she's going to be really, really good in. So for this ship and alone, she has to have maxed out stats. You can't just be like, I'm just going to max out the red skill and she's going to be good enough. You have to max out all her stats to get a really good idea of how strong Amagi 2 is. So honestly, I think they overdid it, and I spent like 18 minutes rambling about Amagi 2. This is a lot to offer for a ship. Like, this is a lot right here. So before I start yapping some more, because 18 minutes long, she is a very good ship, and she's a must pull to have as well too. Like, it's a really, really powerful ship. That's all I gotta say. She's really powerful. Now Watarase. Watarase here, light cruiser, stats at 120. We have 35, 18 for health, 185 firepower, 375 torpedo, 0 aviation, 339 anti-air, 184 reload, 128 on the evasion. Right? Yeah. Light armor, 37 speed, 175 hit, 50 luck, 97 ASW, and 11 on the oil cost. So again, IGNs aren't mainly known for their durable vanguards. I think the most durable ones are the PR ones like Shimanto and Azuma. So these ships aren't very, very durable for the most part. But she probably has something in her kit that's loaded out, so we'll see and we'll find out. Light cruiser gun efficiency 125, torpedo efficiency 175. That's a lot. Anti-air 110. So torpedo focus, we're gonna see if she's very interesting or not, but very heavy when it comes to torpedo department. Now when it comes to the maxed out permastat, 1 accuracy, so another Plymouth permastat right there. And now for the skills. Wave Splitter's Edge increases the ship's reload and accuracy by 15%. When the battle starts, if your flagship is a Sacred Empire ship, increases the ship's damage dealt by 15%. When your flagship launches an airstrike or fires her main guns, fires a level 10 special barrage based on skills level 5-second interval between activation. So it's a follow-up barrage. So you want to have someone fast. So someone like Musashi wouldn't really benefit Watarase because Musashi moves very, very slow if you want to use like the Yamato gun or any other like non-fast gun for the most part. But she is a follow-up ship. If you want to get like maximum benefits from her, you want to have a very fast ship go. So like what's a very fast preloaded ship? I don't think IGN has a preloaded carrier, but anything that gives like a very like instant launch or whatever would be really beneficial to have for Watarase. Now, amidst flowing shadows, increase the ship's evasion by 10%. When enemies get within 30 units of this ship, like I think it's like, so 10 units is like one character at block, I think. Fires a level 10 special barrage based on skills level, 10-second activation in between. Once per battle, when the ship has taken damage a total 8 times in one battle, restores 5% of this ship's max HP. That's actually really interesting. If there's a lot of projectiles flying around, then this is actually pretty cool. And then all-out assault. So Watarase is a very team-focused ship. Now, most of her kit is kind of like whatever. Like, she doesn't offer that much damage. Like, she doesn't even have a good stealth buff except reload and accuracy. But what you want to have is a very fast ship be the flagship, so she can maximize her barrages. So in terms of like OS content, I can't see her being very, very good because you want to have like a preloaded setup for mob fleet. So Watarase wouldn't be really good in OS, but she would probably be pretty good in terms of like regular campaign setups. So mob content is very good, just not mob content for like OS, because OS content is very, very fast. It's like 10 seconds done, next fight. So IGN doesn't have a preloaded ship for flagship, so she can't benefit from this, meaning her kit is not going to be very good for OS. But for campaign though, pretty nice. Now Hiei META. Hiei META battle cruiser at 120 stats. We have 7097 health, 387 firepower, 0 torpedo, 0 aviation, 294 anti-air, 166 on the reload, 39 evasion, medium armor, 30 speed, 69 hit, 37 luck, 0 ASW, and 15 on the oil cost. So battle cruiser across the board, very standard. Nothing too crazy, but very standard. Eri Kitamura, also one of my favorites voice actors. Man, this banner is stacked when it comes to voice actresses, dog. Like, who's Watarase voiced by? Hina Suguta. I never heard of her. Now, we gotta look her up eventually. I think she does some anime characters or something like that. But Eri Kitamura and Miyuki Sawashiro, bro, stacked lineup. Oh my god. 135 on the BB efficiency, 150 on light cruiser, and 90 on anti-air. So pretty standard there. I think this is pretty low, but she's a battle cruiser, so it's kind of like whatever. Battle cruiser stat, 1 evasion, and for the skills we have Sky Sieging Slash, increase the ship's firepower and reload by 15%. Every 20 seconds, fire a level 10 special barrage based on skill level. When this special barrage activates, if there are 2 or more enemies present on the battlefield, additionally performs a level 10 slashing barrage, again based on skills level. If this slashing barrage is not activated though, this damage of this ship's next main gun volley is increased by 20%. Not bad. It's either going to be more volley damage or more AoE clearing, so very solid kit, I'd say. Very, very good. Shadow Scattering Shimmer, every 20 seconds, 70% chance to activate Shimmer, redirecting 50% of the damage that would be dealt to your main fleet to this ship, reducing said damage by 20%. Okay, so it's kind of like a scuffed Musashi, I think, which is okay, I guess, but I'd rather have Musashi for that. Lasting for 10 seconds. Additionally, decrease the evasion of one enemy by 10%, very good skill. If Shimmer fails to activate, instead increase the evasion and reload of your Vanguard by 15% for 10 seconds. Not bad. More utility for Vanguard, so solid there. Bravery begets boons, so BBB. Reduces the damage the ship takes from HE ammo and burning damage by 15%. and reduces the damage of all your main fleet ships by 10%. So is she like a tanker, I feel? But she has low HP, so it's kind of like, why would I want to use her there? But she offers a lot of utility to the backline, so it's like, okay, kind of cool. But she's very, like, she's not that tanky. Medium armor, 7,000 HP. It's kind of like, what's the point? Once per battle, when this ship's HP falls below 30%, restores 8% of this ship's max HP and increase their anti-air and evasion by 15%. Alright. Okay, I guess. Cinders of Hope, Hiei. When fighting humanoid siren fleets or boss fleets, increase the ship's crit damage by 8%. So no crit rate, but we get crit damage, okay? It's kind of like whatever. Her kit's kind of weird. A lot of focus on main fleet durability and vanguard durability. I mean, it's okay, I guess. If this was Musashi, this would be amazing. Like anyone with like 10,000 HP and like heavy armor is like really cool for this. But she's lacks HP and she's medium armor, and then she has like crit damage, so it's kind of like forgettable, honestly. She has a cool character design though, can't say no to that. But this kit doesn't match her skills, at least not to me. So it's kind of like whatever. But the AoE clearing though is pretty solid. I like the AoE clears for this. Very, very good. Ayase and Suzunami, I'm not going to talk too much about them. If I see something interesting in their kit, I'll talk about it. But for the most part though, like 20% self buff, 75% chance to activate barrage. Sea mines, okay. Interesting there, but that's like very rare, isn't it? Sea mines. Suzunami, special barrage, enemies hit take increased torpedo damage for 8 seconds. Decreased speed, okay. Increased torpedo evasion, okay. 30% chance, okay, that's very low. But if she fires a lot of torpedoes though, like this one, this could like be pretty cool, I guess. I mean, I think you can get some value out of her, honestly. I'll take it back. You could probably, if you get very lucky, you could probably do some cheesy stuffing with her. But I think there's better torpedo users out there for IGN aside from Suzunami. So like Shimakaze, Unzen, like are pretty good in that department. And yeah, I just feel like there's better options out there when it comes to torpedo stuff. Alright, so what are the big takeaways from this banner? The big one is obviously going to be Amagi CV, aviation, aircraft carrier. Disgusting. A lot of stuff going for a kit. Very, very powerful. Good for mobbing, good for bossing. A lot of wave clear as well too. She fits in every scenario where you want to run a full IJN setup. Her only flaw is because she can only be run with full IJN setup, because this negates her from other compositions where she can be beneficial to have. Like if you want to run like a Sirius, you want to run like Helena, you're taking away from her barrage intervals, which may not be like a benefit like long term. Like it's nice to have, but you shouldn't focus primarily on getting a full IJN fleet. So having ships like Sirius, Helena is nice, but you are taking away from her barrage intervals, so keep that in mind. Otherwise though, I would say for the most part, if you're running like a core setup, Amagi 2, Shinano, Hakuryu, or Musashi with a Kazugumo, that's 3 ships right there. You're cutting your barrages down to 9 seconds. That's very, very good and more consistent. But yeah, a very powerful ship to have. Hiei META, Watarase, they're cool if you guys want to have like extra SSR ships if you guys are new players. Again, Watarase focuses more on like preloaded ships if you guys have them. Not great for OS, but great for regular campaign. And Hiei META, good for tanking, very, very good for just making sure your backlines don't die instantly. But herself, she's not tanky like Musashi is. So keep that in mind if you guys just want to use her as like a flagship or whatever. And Ayase, she's cool design, but kit, I'm not seeing it. Suzunami, great torpedo war, but I feel like there's better options out there when it comes to torpedo stuff nowadays. Alright, so yeah, 30-minute video. Most of it is talking about Amagi 2. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you guys for watching as always, and I will see you guys in the next video.